Mr. Chair, we are back.
You're back. We are not yet. We are fixing the system.
Can we get the conclusion of it though? I don't. Okay. I can look at it now if you want me to watch it. Just to the end.
Let's start this one so we can get out of it.
Okay.
I think Chris is watching that.
So we're in 37, huh? Yeah, so we're back now, and we're in application number 37, which is 128 Andale Drive. And here we have Miss Aida Evangelista. Are you still there?
Mr. Chair, yes, I am
Okay.
still here,
Yeah.
and this is it for me.
Yeah. I thought we just saw you 10 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just can't get rid of me today.
No, we don't want to. So that's it's a new dwelling, 6 variances, and there's nothing just forestry. But now we have somebody that listed here, therefore we may need a presentation. Now, staff, do we have Clarence Tso online?
Yes, we do.
We do. Okay, yeah. Ms. Evangelista, we do have one speaker, so we need a small presentation from you.
Okay, no problem. So what we have here, the home that we are proposing is very similar to, and if you refer to my package, 131 Andale, exactly the same design. So this particular lot is an irregular shaped lot, and that's why we have the side yard setbacks. So on the east side, we have a side yard setback of 1.54, but it does open up. It opens up to a 1.55 and then beyond 1.80, closer to 3 meters. And the same on the west side. There's a pinch point at the front of the property, and that's why we have the 2 variances, because it is the pinch point at the front of the property, because it's narrow at the front and it widens out. And it's at 1.45. And then again, it opens up to 1.559 and then beyond the 2 meters. So our main wall height, we do not have an overall height variance, but we do have a main wall height variance. And the reason for that main wall height variance, you'll see, is because this is what I would say would be a transitional style home. And again, if you refer to my package at 131 Andale, you'll see why we are asking for a main wall height. However, the overall height, the roof is a little bit shallower. The walls are much more present, creates much more articulation, much more open windows that it does create. We have, so we do have a building height and a first floor height under the old bylaw 7625, and that's because it's taken from the crown of the road, the middle of the road. However, as I mentioned, we do not have an overall height under the new bylaw, nor do we have a first floor height under the new bylaw. Actually, our first floor height under the new bylaw from established grade is 1.14. So it doesn't give you, it's, quite low to the ground. We're permitted 1.20 and we're well below that. So, and if you refer to my package, what I did was I included, various style homes in the neighborhood. This is, it's an area that's changing. It has different various characteristics of styles of homes. And as I mentioned, 131 will give you a pretty good idea on what it is that we're proposing here. And in closing, Mr. Chair, members, what you have, the proposal that you have in front of you is keeping in the forecast, and I respectfully submit that the proposal is very characteristic in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. We'll bring you back. Let's see if the other person is here. Clarence, so are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Clarence. I guess my address is 126 Andale, just kind of like next door neighbor. And then maybe this is just more of a question. The setbacks are kind of like what I had just questions around on the side. And I guess I just wanted to make sure that like the variance that's like requested there, like ultimately ends up only applying to sort of those pinch points as opposed to like sort of across the entire length of the entire length of the house. Does that question make sense?
Well, we'll have the agent answer the question. Keep going. Any other question?
No, that's really the main one. Like, I think I just, I mean, from the plans, I understand that like the setback variance request is kind of just at one point, but just sort of as someone who doesn't quite understand sort of how these work, I was just curious if a variance is sort of like approved, is it possible that, it ends up being applied across the entire length of the house instead of just what's seen here?
In the site plan. I see what you mean. Okay, thank you. We'll see any other. That's the only question you have. So
Yeah, it's just about the setback.
okay.
That's my only question.
Okay, Miss Evangelista, could you please come back and answer that question? If you have a site plan that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's asking about the.
Yes. So, valid, fair question. I completely understand. Now, right now, the lot coverage is 31.51. So that 146, 154 is at the pinch point at the front of the house. We do have a coverage of 31.51. Should we increase it so that whole side is 146, 154, that will exponentially increase our lot coverage, in which case then we will not receive our building permit. If the neighbor feels much more comfortable and you would like to tie the site plan to the decision,
Right.
we're amenable to that, just to give them that comfort level. But again, we cannot go forward because that would increase our lot coverage, and we only have a 31.51% coverage.
That's good. So that's if we attach to site plan, then it answers his question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it answers his question.
Is he comfortable with that?
Well, it answers his question, so answers his.
Yeah, I believe so.
All he's
Yes,
all
I
he's
believe
worried
so.
about that he won't go all the way through. Okay, members, any question for this thing? So the suggestion is to attach the site plan, so the site back will not go all the way through. So, can I have a motion unless you have some question? Miss Atarodi, yeah.
Yes. So, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application and subject it to urban forestry and also the developed substantially built according to the site plan drawing attached to the drawing to explain all the changes.
Thank you. Second, Miss Manning, all in favor? All in favor? Okay. So, Miss Evangelista, your application is approved, subject to forestry and subject to attach to site plan as you suggested. Okay. So.
Thank you very much, and I'm signing off.
Very good. Well, today's your luck.
Have a nice evening.
You too. Today's your lucky day.
Today's my lucky day.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. You're going. Are you coming next time? Okay, application number 38, which is 27 Heather Road, application number 38. And here we have Trevor Wallace. Are you there? Trevor Wallace is the agent. Are you there?
Indeed, Mr. Chair. However, I do believe that the homeowner, who is also on the line, is intending to present the request for
Yes.
minor variances as per the application.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, I have them listed here, Matthew and R.D. Muhars. Now, the question is, who wants to speak? All of you, or just them, or just you?
I think Artie will take it from here. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
He's taking from there. Okay, thank you. So please come up.
Mr. Chair and committee, my name is Artie Mohajer. My address is 27 Heather Road, and I'm here with my wife, Chelsea Rasmussen Mohajer.
Very good. So we have here like a two-story addition, 3 variances, 5 letters. We have 5 letters of support, and transportation said no objection. So I wonder, do you want to make a presentation, because we know what's in here? Go ahead, please. We don't have any other speakers, just you guys.
So would you like me to make a presentation?
Well, it's up to you. If you want to make a presentation, okay. If you don't, we'll move to the motion.
I'll make a quick presentation because I want to make sure that it gets approved without conditions.
Okay.
So we're asking to continue parking where we already park our cars now, which is currently zoning compliant. As you can see from the site plan, we're proposing to expand the footprint of our house, and we're not asking for any variances with respect to that. We're in compliance with heights and setbacks. But as part of that addition that we're adding, we need to remove our old detached garage that's in the back of our house, that's in our backyard currently. So we're here today to ask for a minor variance for parking only. We currently park in the driveway of our house in front of the front wall, which again is zoning compliant. The variances we're seeking are to maintain zoning compliance post-reno. And I want to stress that we're not changing, we're not asking to change the location of where we're parking now or the appearance of our front yard. We're just going to continue parking where we're parking. The existing garage is not big enough for practical to park there. As you said, Transportation Services has approved it. We have letters of support from 5 neighbors, and that includes our abutting neighbors on either side. And there's precedent for our parking variances that we're asking for. Everyone on our street parks in their driveway, as does the neighborhood.
Very good. Yeah, very good presentation. Okay. Members, we have, there's nobody else listed. Just 3 variances related to the parking, and the transportation report has no objection. Could we, staff, could we please remove that thing from there? I want to see the members. Okay. So, can I have a motion, unless you have some, Miss Manning?
Through you, Member Chair, a motion to approve this application with no conditions.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Tarodi. Okay, so that's the 2. It's all if there is. Okay, Mr. Yeah, Mr. What? RD, yeah, is RD. So
Yes.
your application is approved, and there is no conditions.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, with 39, there is something there that you're supposed to. Okay, application number 39, which is 164 Northwood Drive, application number 39. And here we have Randall Dickey. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of committee. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, we hear you. This application here is for two-story dwelling, 4 variances. Staff report has only condition to build per east and west elevation drawings, and we have 2 letters of objection, and we have 1 person registered here. Will hear them. Because there is that person listed, we need you to make a short presentation, please.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of committee. My name is Randall Dickey. I'm the authorized agent for the property owner. My work address is number 446-1111 Davis Drive in Newmarket. The proposal before you today is to construct a new 2-story dwelling, detached dwelling. As noted, there are 4 variances before you. Variance number 1 deals with the requested height along the east and side main walls. I would note that the proposal complies from grade up to eaves. The vast majority of the side walls do comply with the bylaw. This is only a case of a few minor windows, 2 on the west side and 1 on the east side, which do project above the eaves. So that is that, I think, very minor request. The planning department staff report, which had no objection to the proposal, recommended conditions that the east and west elevations be attached to any approval should committee grant these variances. And of course, we are in agreement with that. The second variance deals with building length. And if you could have a look at the site plan, I would note that the extension or the variance only applies to what I call the 1-story kitchen bump out at the rear of the property. The building length along both the east and west side building lengths do comply with the bylaw, which is 17 meters. The variance is only for the small 1-story kitchen element centrally located along the rear of the main wall. Variance number 3 deals with the side yard setbacks, and in this case, we are requesting essentially a 0.3 meter or a 1-foot reduction in the side yard setbacks to both the east and west side. These are small reductions. They give the building a better floor plate to work with. 1.5 meters or 5 feet is still ample space for access and servicing around all sides of the building. I would note that the abutting property to the east, number 68, which has submitted a letter of concern about that relationship, I would just note at this time that the front of their property is 1.2 meters from the side lot line, and then the back portion of it does increase the side yard setback, but I'll wait until we get into that discussion. The final variance that we're asking for today is with respect to height, and this is only height to the old bylaw. We do comply with the new bylaw. Both 2 stories are permitted, and 10 meters is the maximum permitted height under the new bylaw, which this proposal does comply with. So this is only a request to the old bylaw, and the variance is less than 1 foot, and that is primarily as a result of the change in grade from the center line at the street until the grading at the front yard. So we believe that these variances are supportable. I think this is a good new dwelling that will fit well in with the community. As I said, the planning department staff report, which I have read, notes that they would recommend tying the east and west elevations to any decision. And of course, I would be agreeable to that. At this point, I'd like to terminate my presentation and listen to any other questions, either from residents or from the committee, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have one more listed person here. B. Wakot. Are they online?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Could you please state for us your name and your address?
B. Walcott, 162 Northwood Drive.
Thank you. You heard the presentation. Tell us what's your concern.
I don't know who to direct this question to, but I noticed in the site plan that the row of trees on the west side, it's not complete. So I wanted clarification. Is there a plan to remove any of the trees on the west side of the property line?
Okay. If that is your question, you will not find it here unless the agent is offering it, because the forestry department is the one who deals with the trees, and if they want to remove a tree, they have to get permission, and that is not taking place at this committee. So we'll have the agent come back. Yes.
I have another question.
Okay.
Okay, I've noticed that indicated on the variances, it says that the proposed east setback is 1.51 and the proposed west setback is 1.5. Why is there a difference? And also, my other question is, if you look at the site plan, near the front of the property on the west side, the setback at a certain part of the house is less than 1.5. It looks like 1.24. And I want to know why it's not 1.5 as proposed here in the requested variances.
Okay. And you say the other a part of it is 1.2. Did you measure it or what?
You can see on the plan itself, on the west side, the site plan, I see the 1.5, 0. But as you get close to the front of the house on the west side, there is a part of the house where the side variance is 1.24, not 1.50 as stated in the requested variance.
Okay. Okay. So we'll get him back to answer that question. So is that that's it? So we'll have him answer the question. Your question about the trees. If he offers an answer, fine. If not, the forestry department will take care of it. And for the other question, we'll ask him to answer. And here we have, okay, Mr. Randall, JK, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so you heard her concern. Can you please respond to that?
Yes, of course. First, with respect to the trees, the plan shows a row of trees along the, let's call it the mutual westerly side lot line. Those are identified on the survey as existing, and under our proposed site plan, the row of trees is the same. Now, if there is something schematically that may be slightly different, then I'm not concerned about it. The intent here is the trees, the row of trees or shrubs along that lot line is to be preserved. And the property owner is already in discussions with city forestry about all necessary tree permits, whether they're private trees, city trees, or boundary trees. So I think all of those issues will be covered by city forestry. With respect to the second point, which was the slightly reduced side yard setback at 1.24, what that element is, that is a permitted encroachment. That is essentially the ground floor fireplace exhaust. And that is a brick structure that is shown on the elevation drawings. It is basically just the fireplace exhaust area that's bricked in, and that is a permitted encroachment. It does not go all the way up to the roof. There it is there. that is that element right there, and that's what that is. And that's permitted by the bylaw, so there is no requirement for any variance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the members, any question for this applicant? No? Okay, so can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for the explanation. And I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application. And also would like to put staff condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the west elevation and east elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment, attachment number 1 and 2. I think that's all.
That's it. Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning, second, and that's the decision. Mr. Dickey, your application is approved and subject only to that staff condition to address to the site plan. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Elevation drawing. Sorry, I said site plan. The elevation drawings. So, okay, thank you. Next one is number 41. 41, which is 16 Glenbrook Avenue, application number 41. And here we have 41, we have Alessia Sopelsa. Are you there?
Hi, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. So could you please tell us your name and the address and your address?
Yes. Yep. Alessia Sopelsa. I am the agent and architect for the owners, and we're located at 12 Paulson Road in York.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here, we have the we have this just a new dwelling, four variances, and only one letter of concern. But we have somebody online here who wants to speak. Therefore, we're going to have to see if they're here and have you make a presentation. Staff is
not a problem.
Staff is Angela Loso is around. Yeah. Okay. So please go ahead and make your 5-minute presentation as to the merit of the application, and we'll call.
Okay, Mr.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Chair, before I make my presentation, I would like to modify item 1 and then use my presentation to explain that if possible.
Okay, number 1, you're modifying to what?
That it would read the proposed side yard setback is 1.2 meters.
Now we want 1.2 meters, huh? Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you. So,
okay.
So please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Mr. Chair and panel members. We believe that we've submitted a proposal that is in keeping with the neighborhood, and we do have support from neighbors. Our neighbors to the east and those directly across the street have confirmed this by way of rather late, but letters of support nonetheless. We're asking for 3 variances for relief from the current bylaw and 1 for relief from the former North York bylaw. I'm happy to address any questions regarding any of these requests, but there are numerous precedents in the area to support that what we seek is appropriate for the development of land and is in keeping with the intention of the official plan and zoning bylaw. I would like to address specifically the variance that Ms. Angela Iozzo, the owner of 18 Glenbrook, the house immediately to the west, had objected to, namely the 1.02 west side yard setback. Upon learning of Ms. Iozzo's objections, we did reach out to her in the spirit of neighborly cooperation. We explained that our intention was to keep the existing west foundation wall and that we'd essentially be matching the new wall above those foundations to the current one, thereby not making what is presently there any worse or different. We did nevertheless appreciate the concerns she outlined in her letter, in which she suggests that a 1.4 meter setback is more appropriate, and we continued talks with her in the hope of reaching a compromise. Ms. Iozzo has been generous with her time and has been very understanding, and after some exchanges, we've agreed that a 1.2 meter west side yard setback would be appropriate. There are numerous precedents for a 1.2 meter setback within the block, and I can certainly cite specifics if you'd like. This revised setback is also meeting halfway with the existing 1.02 meter setback that is there and the 1.4 meter setback that she had put forth. We therefore request changing item 1, as I had mentioned, and to basically be a 1.2 meter setback. Having said all this, I hope that I haven't misspoken regarding any of the exchanges I've had with Ms. Yotso, so perhaps we can hear from her to confirm that this is indeed her understanding as well before committee members ask questions or vote on the matter. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. So the change of number 1 is instead of 1.02, you change it to 1.2. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so let's get Angela Lazo. Angela, are you there? Angela Lazo.
Hello?
Okay, could you please?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Angela. My last name is Yotso. Just 1 second, please. I've been waiting for a while and I had something on the stove. Sorry about that.
Oh, we don't want to
My name
fire,
is
no.
No.
We don't want to
My
fire.
name is Angela. My name is Angela. My last name is Yotso.
Yoso, okay.
I-O.
Okay.
Correct. I live at 40 Glenbrook Avenue. And I have spoken with the architect several times. We have discussed the variance, specifically the West Side variance, and have come to the conclusion that the applicant and I agreed to a 1.2 meter setback. That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
they did change it. Okay, very good. Okay. Any question for this speaker? So her change was made. Okay. Thank you. So can we get here Alessia again?
I'm here,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So you were right. Her concern was the side back, which you already changed. So let's see. Let's see what the members. Do you have any question for the agent? If not, can I have a motion, please, with that change? Remember the change. Mr. Tarodi, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I turned my head. Which one wanted, Mr. Tarodi or Mr. Tarodi? Please go ahead.
Yes, no problem. To you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with one change that the applicant did. The proposed west yard side yard setback is now 1.2 meter, and the rest will remain the same and with no other condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning is seconding. So your application is approved, and
Excellent. Thank you kindly.
thank you. Subject to the change you made. Okay.
Thank you.
41, 42. Okay, 42 is 172 Albertos Avenue, application number 42. And that is, we have here Ellie. Aaron, are you there? No. He's not there, huh?
Mr. Chair, the agent is Stephen. That Ellie Aaron is a resident who wants to speak.
Oh, okay, so the agent is what?
Stephen.
Okay. Is he online?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. My name is Stephen G. I'm a planner from Design Plan Services.
Okay. And could you, your address is, you said it was your own address?
900 the East Mall in Toronto.
Thank you. Now we have a number of people to speak here, so we need you to make a presentation. You get here a new dwelling that was deferred from before. There were 4 variances, and now there's 6. And we have 1 letter of concern, but we have three more people to speak. So please make a presentation, and we'll go back to them, see what happened.
Sounds good. So before getting to the variances, I would like to know that this application was deferred from the February 24th, 2022 hearing due to an error on the public notice. Like you mentioned, 2 variances were missed, and the variances were always the same. I will also like to know that we have not received any concerns or objections from city planning or any other commenting departments with this proposal. We acknowledge that there was a previous urban forestry report that was issued for the previous hearing recommending standard condition number 2 and 3 to be imposed. I am not aware of a new urban forestry report, but the previously mentioned conditions are acceptable. Further, we have received letter of support from 168 Albertos Avenue, which is immediate adjacent neighbor to the east. We also received a letter of support from 85 Albertos Avenue. The proposal is to demolish the existing 2-story single detached dwelling and construct a new two single detached dwelling with an integral garage. Please note that although not showing on the site plan, the owner will demolish the existing 2-door garage located at the rear of the property and replace most of the existing asphalt driveway area with soft landscaping and other landscaping features to provide more rear amenity space. So I'm going to go into the variances. Variance number 1 and 3 pertain to the rear deck projection and maximum first floor height. These two variances are associated together and should be considered together. The subject property has a frontage of 7.62 meter, taking away the required side yard setback of 0.9 and 0.45 meter, which only leaves a developable building width of 6.27 meter. In order to include an integral garage and provide an adequate first floor space, the first floor height has to be raised. And please note that that building will comply with overall building height. But both this build form and layout is typically used for redevelopment on lots with smaller frontages and can be found throughout the entire neighborhood, as shown in my photo study submitted to the committee. So it is my opinion the proposed first floor height is in keeping with the existing character of the neighborhood. The rear deck projection variance is required due to the raised first floor height. When the platform is higher than 1.2 meter above the ground, the platform is only permitted to project 2.5 meter from the rear wall. And the proposal is requesting for 3.93 meter from the rear wall. Please note that the majority of the rear deck will only project 2.91 meter from the rear wall, and the requested variance includes a small portion that provides landing space for the stairs. The proposed rear deck will be connected to the family room located on the first floor and provide outdoor amenity space for family and future occupants. Variance number 2 and 6 pertain to the proposed building depth and length. Both proposed building depth and length are 17.6 meter. The proposed building depth variance is only 0.6 meter, which is minor in nature, in my opinion. For the building length, please know that the base zoning of the subject property is an R zone, which does not regulate building length. The building length variance was triggered by the site-specific exception zoning 949, which carried over the length requirement under the former bylaw 43886. However, the intent of the site-specific exception is not meant to prevent the subject property from any kind of redevelopment. The intent is to make sure that if redevelopment happens, it will go through the appropriate review process, which is the committee of adjustment. And also know that the permitted GFA on the property is 186.85 square meter. And with a limited building width of 6.27 meter, a building length variance is unavoidable. Also know that proposal will comply with rear yard, side yard, and front yard setbacks, and the existing garage at the rear of the property will be demolished to provide additional rear yard space. And other approval of similar or higher building length and depth were also found in the area. For example, 110 Albertos was approved for building depth and length of 17.68 meter. 134 Albertos approved for 18.82 meter. 150 Albertos approved for 21.6 meter for building length and 19.83 meter for building depth. 178 Albertos approved for 18 meter for building depth. Variance number 5 pertains to proposed FSI. The permitted FSI is 0.6 times the lot area, or 186.85 square meter. The proposal is 0.72 times the lot area, or 224.33 square meter. The increase of GFA being requested is only 37.48 square meter, spread over 2 floors. Please note that the existing garage at the rear is approximately 35 square meter in size, which will be demolished and provide additional rear space, as well as reduce the overall massing at the rear of the property. Please also keep in mind that the proposal will comply with the overall building height and setback requirements, and the proposed FSI is in keeping with a number of previous approvals for FSI within the neighborhood. For example, 150 Albertos approved at 1.09 times the lot area, 159 Albertos approved at 0.722 times the lot area.
Okay, we'll ask
178
you,
approved at
sir,
0.7.
we'll ask you to summarize because you're getting close to the 5 minutes, and we'll bring you back after we hear the other speakers.
Sounds good. So based on the provided justification, I'm of the opinion that the proposal will fit in with the both existing and planned context of the neighborhood, is consistent with the redevelopment trends along Albertos Avenue and the broader neighborhood context. And for these reasons, I believe the application represents good planning and meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Horbach, is she there? Wendy Horbach. Yes or no? Yes. Wendy Horbach.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I got nervous there.
No, don't be nervous. We'll make you comfortable. Could you please just state your name and address for us?
Thank you it's been a long day. Good evening, and thank you for staying the course. My name is Wendy Orbach at 83 Albertos, M4R 1J6.
Perfect. Now, you heard the agent going over what they want to do in their building. Could you tell us what's your concern about that building?
Before we start, could the staff please put up my letter with page 2, the FSI Romano chart that I submitted? It's my letter from Wendy Orbach. That's not mine. Thank you. My letter, Wendy Orbach. That is not my letter.
Wendy, if you could proceed with your presentation while we try to pull it up.
I appreciate that, but I have a chart that I'd like to go over with you, and you gave the planner the same courtesy, so I would appreciate if you could do that for me. Thank you. I appreciate your help. It's Romano's FSI chart of the neighborhood on page 2.
We understand, Wendy. We are still trying to find the document, so if you just give us a moment.
It's one of the larger megabytes.
And we understand that, but we need
don't
to still
want you
pull
to
it up.
lose your 5 minutes. Can you please just keep going until they find it? I see the clock.
Well, the clock's not moving yet.
I know it should move because it's your presentation.
Well, thank you for advocating for me. I would just like the panel members to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. It would be easier for them. I just want to make their job easier. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you, but they're looking for your letter. If you can keep going until they find the letter, then we won't lose time and you won't waste time.
Well, I don't want to waste anybody's time.
So
I want to make it clear that we're not against development. What we are against is the overdevelopment of a small 25-foot lot. We would like the owner and the architect to creatively reduce the variances to align with the prevailing character of the street and respect and reinforce OPA 320 and the official plan 5A to H. That is not my letter. That's not my letter. It's under Wendy Orbach.
So please keep going.
Sorry, guys. All right. Well, let's unpack my letter using planning statistics and recently adjudicated Committee of Adjustment and TLAB decisions. And I'd really like that chart to be up so Miss Manning and Miss West can see what I'm saying. I don't know what to do here. Should I keep talking or wait to have it? That's not...
Excuse me, do you have this letter yourself? You have a copy of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us exactly what's in it because from here we don't...
But I would like them to see Mr. Romano's chart.
Who's them?
The staff, Miss Manning and Miss West. Can the staff not put up my letter? I don't understand what's happening.
Wendy, we are still trying to find the letter. Please be patient with us while we go through all of the documents that have been submitted for this application.
Oh, there we go. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, should I start again? Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, as I said, we're not against development. What we are against is the overdevelopment of a 25-foot lot. We'd like the owner and the architect to creatively reduce their variances to align with the prevailing character of the street and respect and reinforce OPA 320 and the official plan 5A to H. So let's unpack my letter utilizing planning statistics and recently hot off the press adjudicated Committee of Adjustment and TLAB decisions. If we look at Franco Romano's FSI chart for the entire zoning area, completed just over a year ago in December 2020 for the TLAB hearing of 86 Briar Hill, we can see in column number 3, there's 113 houses on Albertos, 19 houses or 16.8% or over 0.60 FSI. 16.8% are not a significant statistic. What is frequently occurring is the 83.2% of the prevailing character of FSI, far under 0.60 for the majority of houses on this street. Now let's look at length. We have a special R949 14-meter length provision. Recently adjudicated decisions include August 2021 at 151 Rosewell at C of A, 15.5 meters refused, and has currently been redesigned to the bylaw of 14 meters. 108 Albertos refused at TLAB for 15.5 meters length, and 76 Albertos refused only a few months ago in November 2021 of 16.1 meters length, refused. Please note Stan McCucha's comments in the body of my letter, which say the variances should not be granted because of the impact to the rear garden and the unpleasant experience of facing to one side a high, overpowering wall, which blocks one's views and impedes the outdoor experience. And Stan is the TLAB chair at 108. Now let's look at what the planner submitted, because I think we should compare apples to apples. Not comparable are semi-detached and townhouses located at 20, 22, 37, 39, and 201 Albertos. Not comparable are 11 houses, all far greater than 25 feet wide. We have 144 Craighurst, 29 feet wide, 206, 137 Craighurst, 31 feet wide, 40 Briar Hill and 80 Briar Hill, 40 feet wide, 140 Albertos, 30 feet wide, 142 Albertos, 38 feet wide, 202 Albertos, 35 feet wide. And yes, the planner has mentioned 150 Albertos. That is 28 feet wide. And if you read the Committee of Adjustment approval, it's pretty clear that only the basement is as long as he quoted. The first and second floor is a maximum to 15.5 length. Let's look at the 4 houses that have a reverse slope driveway. They're not comparable. 150, 160, 205 Albertos, and 144 Craighurst. Let's look at all the houses that don't have, 7 houses that don't have an integrated garage. 139, 159, 160, 162, 163 Albertos, 55 Briar Hill, and 26 Craighurst. And let's note 55 Briar Hill has a 14.65 meter length, and 162, which has a partial third floor, has a 14 meter bylaw length. And 139 Albertos, which has a partial third floor, only has a 14.06 meters bylaw length. So now we come to the houses that we can actually compare to. 25-foot lots, integrated garages. So we have 9296 Albertos, which are at bylaw, per OMB, 14 meters, FSI 060. 149 Albertos, at bylaw, 14 meters, FSI 0.60. 53 Briar Hill, 14.23 meters length. 178 Briar Hill, 15.55 meters length. 94 Craighurst, 15.19 meters length. 177, that COA includes the deck because it was done a long time ago. So let's look at what we actually have to compare. 110, 112, 123, 125, and 134. That is 5 houses out of 113. That is not a significant statistic. We ask that you reject this proposal so that the architect We ask that you refuse this proposal so the
So-
architect
Okay,
and the
that's-
owner can creatively modify
Miss
the
Miss
length and
Orbach,
height
Miss Orbach,
resulting.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
You passed your 5 minutes. I want just to tell you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you made a very good presentation. You should be a planner. Telling you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, any question for this speaker? No. Okay. Now we have the next one. Mara Strasdin, is he there? Okay. Mara Strasdins. Are you there, or Strasdin? Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. Can you
hear me?
Can you please, state your name and address, your own address for us?
Yes. My name is Mara Strasdins, and I live at 173 Craighurst Avenue.
Okay.
And that's directly behind. Oh, and
Oh.
also I sent in 2 photos. If you could please load those up for me.
Okay.
I did see them earlier on the screen.
So can you tell us what's your concern about this application after you heard the agent explain it?
Oh, sorry, it's not that one. It's a different file. There's just 2 photos, and I did see it earlier. Oh, that's it. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I do have some concerns. I live directly behind the proposal. So the first problem that I have is the proposed building length is too excessive. So the proposal extends the building further by 12 feet. My yard. I feel the building length is too excessive for the size of the backyard, and it will create groundwater and potential basement flooding issues. I also feel that when you have very small backyard spaces and you're removing a lot of green space, it really reduces desirable backyard biodiversity. The second issue I have is that the proposed rear deck height is too high and extends the structure length too far. So this proposed rear deck projects 13 feet from the rear wall, and the proposed deck is too high and too, which will have a really detrimental effect on my privacy and the neighboring lots. They will be directly into my yard and also into the neighboring yards. Also, when the oversized deck is combined with the requested length variance, the entire structure extends 75.4 feet, making the entire combined structure 30 feet longer than allowed, and dramatically, again, reducing the backyard size. The third issue I have is the proposed building depth is too deep. The depth of this proposed building is 2 feet deeper than the allowed depth, and my concern is that it will cause flooding and water problems in the neighboring lots, impact the groundwater and drainage in the surrounding areas, and might in fact cause problems for my basement as well. The fourth issue is tree protection is not adequate. So if you could go down to the second photo, please, just bring it down a bit. Can you move it down to the second photo? Can you please move it down to the second photo? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can see that there is a large mature 50-foot evergreen on the property, on the neighboring property, and that tree is actually 40 to 50 years old. That picture was taken from my yard. So while this proposal has carved out a space for the roots in the basement, the actual building would abut right against this tree. And so they may be forced to actually prune one side of the tree canopy, which would leave a mature but very defaced tree that might not in fact survive. And you can imagine where we had a windy day like yesterday, this tree could actually fall over on a roof. And the mature trees in this neighborhood are really a sort of a feature of this neighborhood. And the city always said that mature trees should be protected, and they're essential to combat our changing climate, heat and dryness in the city. The fifth issue I have is just the proposal really alters the character of the neighborhood. So can you move it up to the first picture, please? First picture. Oh, just move it up to the first picture. Please move it up to the first picture. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this proposed building does not fit in with the current character of the neighborhood and creates backyard alleyways where people are boxed in by large concrete walls. You can see there, this is the neighboring lot, and there's already a giant concrete wall there on one side. So as soon as they build this particular structure, there's going to be two concrete walls. And in fact, it creates like a prison backyard, which is not conducive to the character of the neighborhood, but it's also not conducive to the mental health of the residents living there. So those are my issues, and I do oppose this proposal as it currently stands, and I would like to see a lot of adjustments on it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll have the agent answer some of your questions. As far as the tree protection, we don't deal with it here. As far as the runoff for the flooding, we don't deal with it here. Is at the permit section. And as far as the trees, they deal with them in the forest department. So here we'll just deal with the variances, and we'll have the agent answer any concern related to those variances. Now, if you have any question for this speaker, we'll move to the next one. Andrew Beatty is he around? Andrew Beatty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, hi. Can you please state your name and address so it can be recorded here?
It's Andrew Beatty at 176 Albertos Avenue.
Thank you. And so tell us what's your concern about this application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. First, if you could just scroll up a bit to the first image there. I'll get to that in just a second. We're not opposed to development respecting the prevailing character. For example, the previous owners of our house, and by the way, our house is the direct abutting west neighbor, chose to expand by building upwards and enclosing the front porch rather than extending to the rear, minimizing the impact on neighbors and preserving the tree canopy. And we chose to rebuild our back deck, preserving its original footings to avoid any tree damage. Our backyard provides space for our grade school children. Sunlight is already limited as a north-facing yard and would be blocked in the mornings by a large wall bordering the east. Also affected would be our view and light to rear windows. We understand these impacts because the house to the west of us is one of those with length well exceeding the bylaw, as you saw in Mara's talk. But in that case, the effects were mitigated as the house is further from our property line due to a mutual drive, and our tree canopy was not affected. The proposed length of 17.6 meters not only exceeds the bylaw by almost 12 feet, but cuts through our large balsam fir, requiring the removal of about a third of the canopy all on one side. And I know that you don't deal with forestry, but this is just to do with the length of the house. If you could scroll up to the first image there. Yeah, great, fit it in there. Yeah, if you can imagine the brick wall on the right extending up to a height of 7.8 meters and then following that fence line right down and straight through that tree, significantly past the trunk of the tree, then that's what it's going to be like. And if you scroll back down, you can see that's the same tree as seen from the side. Yeah, that's right. So we note that the developer added a basement notch to avoid the basement intruding into the tree protection zone. However, urban forestry requires a minimum additional distance of 1 foot for construction work, which has not been given in the plans. This major variance significantly reduces our greenery, sun, and view. It's longer than the prevailing length of the houses on Albertos Avenue, as Wendy spoke about. In fact, TLAB recently refused 108 Albertos with a length of 15.5 meters due to the impact on neighboring backyards. And COA recently refused 151 Rosewell with a length of 15.4 and 76 Albertos with a length of 16.05. The applicants request a first floor height variance of 1.62 meters exceeding the 1.2 maximum. Decision data does not show any first floor height variances granted on this block of Albertos. In fact, 65 of the 83 homes on our block, 78%, are vintage character with the first floor at ground level. The applicants then request a variance to add an extra long deck at this elevated first floor height, extending a further 1.43 meters from the house than the permitted 2.5 meters. Our cedar fence is a typical 1.8 meter height. And what that means is that people standing on the deck will be looking down over the fence into our backyard and house. The combined effect of these length and height variances will have a major negative impact on us and other abutting neighbors in terms of privacy, light, and noise. No other new builds on Albertos have required a deck height variance. Proposed FSI 0.72, as mentioned in the plans, but since the lowest floor is closer to grade than the floor above, it would seem to be the first floor according to bylaw, which would make the FSI closer to 1. Either way, the average for Albertos is just under 0.5. This is out of character for the street. Recent COA decisions at 76 Albertos, 108 Albertos, 151 Rosewell rejected FSI variances over 0.6. We note that the proposed development encroaches on the mutual driveway easement shared with 168 Albertos. No documentation has been provided showing that this easement has been released. Stephen just commented that they will be replacing the asphalt with landscaping, which was not apparent from the plans. So, and further, there's no path on the plans leading from the driveway to the steps, which presumably would be more hard landscaping. The cumulative effect of all these variances create a mass and scale that does not fit the prevailing character of the street. This is why 12 neighbors have written letters of objection, including the direct west, which is us, direct north, direct south across the street, and the neighbors 2 and 3 houses to the east. We ask for this application to be refused. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question for the speaker? Okay, so that's all there is for the speakers, and we'll get back here, Mr. Stephen Kay. Huh? What's that? Who's that? Andrew Biddy, that's him. Oh, Eli. Okay, I had him listed as the owner, as the agent. Okay. Eli Lele, are you there? Eli Aaron.
Hello?
Eli Aaron, can you please state your name and address?
Yes, name is Eli Aaron, address 2708 Young Street.
Okay, and could you please tell us what's your concern here? And you heard all the opposition. If you have something different, we'd appreciate it. If not, tell us what your concern is.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am certainly not the owner. I'm here for the Lytton Park Residents Organization. So I'll just go over a few issues here. So we did see, a presentation from the agent where pretty much every house had an integral garage that was shown, and the agent, I believe, referred to this as the neighborhood character. So I want to make clear that that's not the neighborhood character. The official plan defines prevailing as what is most commonly occurring, and that is not what is most commonly occurring. Those are carefully selected photos showing the houses in the neighborhood that do have integral garages, but they are a slim minority when you look at this block and the neighborhood as a whole. I also, I'm going to comment on the length is quite excessive. I know the agent said that it's not really relevant, but I think that multiple decisions from the Toronto Local Appeal Body and Committee of Adjustment in recent years would beg to differ with that assertion. There's an exception on this area that limits length to 14 meters, and it should be enforced. It's there for a reason. It doesn't just mean that you get to pretend that the length is 17. If the bylaw says the length is 14, then houses should be measured against the bylaw. And this house obviously significantly exceeds the length. At a height of 3 stories, it exceeds the permitted length by more than 3.5 meters. And that's the next point I'm going to make, which is that this is a 3-story dwelling. If you look at the front elevation, it's
Nazila, can you hear me? Nazila? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
I think we got our Wi-Fi back. The whole building went out.
Okay. All right.
We're missing Natasha at this point.
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay,
hi.
perfect.
Perfect. Sorry about that. The whole building went out.
Oops.
But Kelly's trying to get us back on again because I think it just came back up again.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
we're waiting. No problem.
Stephen, are you there?
Yes, Sir Chair, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So respond quickly on those concerns. We had lots of problems and we want to move on. So please tell us your response.
Sounds good. There were a lot of questions, so I'll try to focus on the variances that were requested. So I'll start with FSI number. The proposed GFA is only 224.33 square meters or 2,014 square feet, which is typical dwelling size for redevelopment for a lot this size and is by no means an overdevelopment. The increase of SFRI GFA is only 37.48 square meter, and the overall massing increase will be approximately 18.5 meter per floor, which is minor in nature, in my opinion. The existing garage located at the rear of the property has a GFA approximately 35 square meter, which is proposed to be demolished to offset the overall building massing in the rear yard of the property, again improving the green space of the subject site and the neighborhood as well. And the proposal will meet all setbacks and building height requirements. And I would like to know that Ms. Wendy Ovak, living at 83 Albertos Avenue, which is about 204 meters away from the subject property, and will not be directly impacted by the proposal. So I'm not sure about the source of the FSI data. As a registered professional planner and appeared in front of the TLAB many times, I know that there are certain data that are unreliable. The most reliable data are the committee approvals, which is only available for the past 14 years. So we have done a analysis of the recently approved committee of adjustment files in this neighborhood area. And we found 53 approved applications with similar variances and 53 application with similar variances, and 48 of those were approved. And we found that the average FSI approved is 0.741 times the lot area. Then I move on to the second question about first floor height. So as I mentioned in my presentation, the first floor height was due to the integral garage. And the reason why an integral garage was needed or proposed is because the garage at the rear right now is unusable. The existing driveway to the rear is approximately 2 meters in width, which does not meet the current standard of a driveway and is not adequate for regular car to go through. And this is why most of the properties on Albertos Avenue and in the area have a front yard parking pad to provide parking at the front of the dwelling and to provide ease of access from the street. The integral garage is commonly seen in redevelopment these days and already exists throughout the neighborhood area, which is shown in my photo studies. Leading to the next question, which is the easement or mutual driveway. So we do have support from the adjacent neighbor at 168 Albertos Avenue, which is sharing the same driveway as the subject property. And the owners are currently working together to release that right-of-way easement. So, and it should be finalized in the next couple of weeks between the two owners. So moving to building length. So there were comments about building length is excessive or building depth is excessive for the size of the dwelling, for the subject property, which I don't agree. So the proposal will meet the rear setback excessively. 18.566 meter rear setback is provided, which is about 2.5 times the required rear setback. That is 7.5 meter. So in my opinion, the building length is appropriate and building depth is appropriate.
That's it?
Sorry, I'm just going through my notes. There was a lot of questions. Moving forward to the height of the deck. So I just want to point out to the committee that under the current zoning bylaw, a second and third story terrace without any size limit is permitted as of right. So the proposed deck will provide about 3 meter setback from the neighboring property to the west. And again, the neighboring property to the west is 3-story in height. And the one down to the west is actually 3-story in height as well, with a 3rd-story terrace. And again, the lot is quite deep. There is a substantial rear yard setback left. The setback to the deck is 14.58 meter, which is almost double the required setback requirements.
Okay, that's it. Can you please summarize? You're getting to 5 minutes and we have to summarize. We have to finish.
Okay, so with that being said, I didn't get to answer all the questions, but with that being said, we respectfully submit to the committee and search chair 3 or search chair. The variances are minor in nature and meet the fourth test.
Okay, we'll see.
And we have no problem
We'll see if there's any questions.
Urban forestry comments.
Okay, we'll see if there are any questions. Any questions for the speaker, Ms. Satarodi?
Yes, well, I think he was talking about the urban forestry because neighbors mentioned that there was before a condition of urban forestry and now there is no, so I would like to get some explanation for that. The other one is that I've heard one of the people who are opposing talking about the overlook of a deck. So I know that you don't have any, I think it's regarding a variance number 1. Can you explain? Do you want to put any privacy screen on both sides, or you want to remove variance 1? Because that was also another concern that I've heard.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee member. So let me address the first question right now. So the first question is regarding the tree permit. So I'm not sure why Urban Forestry didn't request submit a second report, but we're okay with the first report, which is standard condition number 2 and 3. And also based on the site plan, there's only one boundary tree located at the west property line, and a tree protection zone has been identified on the site plan as well. And proper protection mitigation measures have been provided. That's shown on the basement plan. So again, we have no objection to number 2 and 3, and we'll go through the proper urban forestry permit process to review that tree well, the intention is to protect that tree and maintain that tree without any damages. And with regard to the second questions to the deck height, if that makes the committee comfortable or makes the neighbor more comfortable, we have no problem providing a privacy screen on the west side of the deck, because the property from the east side, they are in support of the application.
Okay, any other question? No? Okay, so can we please have a motion and see where we're going from here?
Can I ask a question from city staff regarding the urban forestry condition? Because the applicant are okay to put the condition of urban forestry, but based on our report, we don't have any urban forestry condition.
I just want to take a second to verify if there was any forestry comments. We just lost our connection again in the building.
If there is no urban forestry condition and we subject it to urban forestry, what will happen? Will delay the process?
Well, no.
I think we will still be subject to urban forestry permit application.
Okay, I think we're back up again. Okay, if you want to give us a second, we can confirm if there was any forestry.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing. Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any forestry comments.
Thank you very much. for clarification.
Is that a current one or is that?
Two, 172.
40, 42.
If you go to application 237, they should establish forestry. If you go into the 37, item 37, no, let's go back to that whole thing.
Pause what's displayed. Pause what's displayed, please.
Yeah, pause. And then go back into that one. Go into item 37. 37 should have everything.
And we're on 42. Nothing?
His screen is my other side.
Did you check?
I am not actually seeing my button.
Oh, I need the forestry. Oh, I know. This is the current.
March 1st.
Okay. March 1st? March 1st?
March, it's dated March 4th.
Dated March 4th. I think they made a mistake of the date. What do you have as item 41 on that?
41 has nothing.
But what's the address of 41?
Oh, 16 Glenbrook.
Okay, so we'll look at it. Okay. Can I ask that? Members, we've confirmed that there was no forestry.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I lost connection here too.
Members, we've lost our connection again. It seems to come and go in the building.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back up again. Okay, just sit tight for a second.
I'm still good. Yeah, I have it too.
There's no standalone memo?
I can share it.
There's no standalone memo whatsoever?
No, I can share the matrix.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, it's not sharing.
That's okay. Okay. Can we move on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back again, and we can confirm there was no forestry checkbox in their matrix.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, on the on the list there is no forestry, but how do you know? Nazila, if you're
Yes.
if you want to make a condition to forestry, it doesn't matter if it's not listed on the list. They have to check with forestry if that's what you want. First of all, let's see.
I just want to ask to double check because the neighbors and all the presenters were talking about the tree. That's why I want to double check.
Right, and if there is an issue and a concern, you can still put a condition, and they'll have to check. This is provided we are approving the application. Let's see first what your motion is.
Okay. So
can
are we still waiting?
Can I have a motion? No. I'd like to have a motion, please.
Okay. So through you, Mr. Chair, I was double checking the design and looking at the site plan again. This specific proposal doesn't have any front yard setback, doesn't require any backyard setback, side yard setback. It also doesn't need any lot coverage. What it asked for 1.2 times of FSI, more than the maximum required. And then when I also look at the existing building demolition line on the site plan, apart from the east side, which they actually now comply. The west side, they really improved the situation. So therefore, I would like to, and I listened to all the applicants, the neighbors, and everyone's concern. But this will be my motion. My motion will be to approve this application. And I'm more comfortable if I subject it to forestry. And also would like to put one condition to provide privacy screen at the height of 1.5 meter on the west side of the deck, because the east side neighbors are in the agreement and they have no concern. Just to just cover the neighbors' concern.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Which is that off a Is that off a deck?
Yes, off a deck on the west side
West side.
only.
So, and is that the rear deck? Is it a rear deck?
Yes,
Okay,
rear
thank you.
deck,
On the
west side of the
1.5
Correct.
meters. Thank you.
1.5 privacy screen to provide the neighbors more privacy.
Okay, and subject to forestry.
That's my motion.
Thank you.
And subjected to forestry.
Yeah, okay. Second, do I have second? Okay, second, Ms. Manning. All in favor, that's 2. So the application, sir, your application is approved, subject to...
Thank you, sir.
Subject to forestry and subject to providing a screening on the west side with balcony as mentioned, okay?
Thank you, Sir Chair and committee members. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Okay, members, can I have a motion to terminate?
Yes, a motion to terminate at 7.04.
Thank you. Second? Okay, thank you.